Nightclub Inferno. As family members visit the site of the Rhode Island fire, pictures emerge of pyrotechnics being used at the club in the past. Target Iraq. Baghdad test fires its disputed missile as Iraq is warned they must be destroyed.
If they refuse to destroy it, the council will have to take a decision on that.
Tragic transplant. How could everything go so wrong? In depth, the safety factor. Questions about a pill sold as a diet supplement, now linked to more than 80 deaths, including a Major League ball player. And day of mourning. After a week marred by fire and death, time to remember all the lives lost.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with John Siegenthaler.
Good evening, everyone. Another heartbreaking day for the victims' families in the Rhode Island nightclub fire who visited the scene today. As investigators look into who may have been responsible for the tragedy, the debate continues over the use of pyrotechnics that night. Even though the owner of the nightclub claims he never gave permission to use those special effects, new videotapes have emerged which show other bands at the club have used fireworks in the past. NBC's Carl Quintanilla joins us tonight from the command center in Cranston, Rhode Island. Carl?
John, more than 400 family members of victims visited the disaster site just hours ago. This town embroiled in both sadness and now controversy.
The caravan arrived midday. Family members coming to mourn, to look at what remains of the nightclub where 96 people died Thursday night. The number of affected families growing as medical examiners identified more bodies, operating at what Governor Don Carcieri called full tilt.
We're going 24 hours a day. They went through the night. We've got a mobile unit that is here, that is on standby if we need to activate that.
But amid the personal loss, the question, who's responsible? The station co-owners say they knew nothing about the use of pyrotechnics.
No permission was ever requested by the band or any of its agents to use pyrotechnics at the station, and no permission was ever given.
But a lawyer for the band refutes the claim.
The band absolutely, unequivocally had permission by the owners of the club to use special effects in this show.
And tonight, evidence that suggests it wasn't the first time bands at the club had used pyrotechnics. The group Loving Cry provided this videotape, which it says shows the band unleashing flames while performing at the club in April of 2000. Did club owners approve it? The band's guitarist is Rev Tyler.
I'd say that proof says yeah.
And a band called Kistery supplied this tape, which it says shows it using similar effects in the club in August 2002. The band says 2 months later, it was invited back to perform again.
They knew, what we did, the spitting fire and the confetti launchers and the flash pots. They knew it was all part of the show, and never once were we told you can't do that. It's not allowed.
A call to the club's attorney was not returned. Rhode Island's Attorney General is leading the criminal investigation and encouraged the club's owners to be cooperative.
I would hope that Mr. Dudarian is as cooperative with the law enforcement agencies involved in this investigation as he has been with the press.
And tonight, a new development, the possibility of walking wounded, people who may have survived the fire but can't remember. The governor making a plea to the public.
If anyone has taken in anyone or has observed anyone that seems disoriented or we're not sure, that please communicate that to the authorities.
John, at a press conference just now, the governor revising that death toll up by 1 to 97 as an additional body was recovered, 42 bodies identified, and the state fire marshal's office instituting a moratorium on all public indoor pyrotechnics until all facilities can be inspected. John?
NBC's Carl Quintanilla. Carl, thank you. Now to the showdown with Saddam. One day after UN weapons inspectors ordered Iraq to destroy its longest-range missiles, Iraq put on an unusual demonstration to explain why the missiles should not be destroyed. NBC's Ron Allen reports from Baghdad.
Today, Iraq test-fired one of its Al-Samud missiles for a team of UN inspectors, perhaps trying to convince them the so-called mini-Scud won't exceed the UN's 90-mile range restriction. Facing a deadline of March 1st to begin destroying perhaps hundreds of missiles, rocket engines, and related equipment, tonight an Iraqi weapons expert said no decision has been made about the UN demand.
We hope that it will be resolved between both sides. peacefully without the interference of the others, especially the Americans and the British.
Iraq wants more missile tests and technical discussions, but UN experts already have rejected Iraq's argument that the missiles won't fly beyond the range limit when loaded with warheads, guidance systems, and fuel. Today, the UN Secretary General warned Iraq the order to destroy the missiles can be backed up by force.
I urge the Iraqis to do it, and I'm confident they will destroy the weapons. If they refuse to destroy it, the Council will have to take a decision on that.
He also told Iraq not to misread the anti-war demonstrations and the mood around the world. Those people, Annan said, also want Iraq to disarm. Saddam Hussein continues to encourage the protests, meeting activists here such as former U.S. Attorney General Ramsey Clark almost daily.
Peace, peace!
Also today, dozens of so-called human shields from around the world continued moving into sensitive locations, such as this power plant, bombed during the Gulf War. Many are vowing to stay, hoping to stop U.S. attacks near civilian areas.
I want the world to know that there is no such thing as collateral damage. If any of these people are harmed, it is murder.
Other activists say they'll occupy schools and mosques. The U.S. has warned Iraq that using human shields will be considered a war crime. Tonight, as Iraq considers whether to destroy its illegal missiles, an official here said losing that part of its arsenal would hurt but not cripple the nation's defenses. Some of those missiles already have been given to Iraqi troops bracing for a U.S. attack. Ron Allen, NBC News, Baghdad.
The Bush administration is working on a new UN resolution on Iraq that could be presented to the Security Council as early as tomorrow. But France voiced its opposition today to that resolution. NBC's Rosalind Jordan joins us tonight from the White House. Good evening, Rosalind.
Good evening, John. After weeks of saying that time is running out for Iraq to disarm, President Bush now says it's time for the world to act, and he means the UN Security Council. President Bush returned to the White House today to begin what he calls the final deliberations on Iraq. First step, this week's introduction of a Security Council resolution authorizing force against Baghdad. But with NATO member Turkey to decide on Tuesday whether up to 40,000 American troops can use its bases for a possible invasion, and with Chief UN Weapons Inspector Hans Blix planning to brief the Council on March 7th on Iraq's willingness to disarm, Secretary of State Colin Powell in Tokyo earlier today said a final decision on Iraq will be made soon.
And I would assume that once he has made that report, everybody will have one last opportunity to make a judgment. And I would think that shortly after that, judgment will have to be made as to what the Security Council should do.
That means for the next 2 weeks, the U.S. will be lobbying undecided council members for their support. A Security Council resolution needs 9 out of 15 votes to pass unless it is vetoed by any of the 5 permanent members. France, China, and Russia have already said they want to see inspections continue, and France says it will oppose a war declaration. Opposition also seen today at a small demonstration outside a British airbase commonly used by American B-2 bombers. The other challenge for the Bush administration, making sure Americans understand the need for war.